Hello everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie de Choix, and welcome to File Folder Friday. Today's project is a little bit different. I have let my scrap paper drawer kind of fill up a little bit, and also my little fabric and lace snippet drawer, so I thought, you know what, let's make some samples on the idea of the old salesman samples. So I've just layered up, well, first of all, let me show you this. I cut up my file folder. They're 2.5 inches wide and 4 inches long, I think is what I ended up cutting them to. Let me just double check here. Yeah, 2.5 by 4, and then I scored it 1 inch to turn it down just to make the little card. And then I used this metal ruler to rough up the edges of the paper, and then I inked them with my coffee ink. So basically they're just little pieces, snippets of lace and snippets of scrapbook paper and coffee dyed paper, and I just layered them up and try to make them look a little pretty, and then put a little tiny eyelet in with a button and a little key. I've got a bunch of these little keys and I need to use them up, so I thought this was a good project to do it on. So each one of them is a little bit different. They got different little papers and whatnot. So as far as a journaling spot, you could journal on the back and then lift up the little papers and journal under here. So I'm just going through my scraps and just arranging them a little bit. Clusters is not something that I usually do, and in reality this is only the second time that I've actually done clusters. So it's not, I'm still learning how I want them to look and that sort of thing. But anyway, so this is what we're going to make today, is some fake salesman samples of just lace, a little fabric, and some paper. So let me get my materials together and we'll get started. Okay. It's a little cool back here in my craft room this morning, and so I've got on this heavy long sleeve, but if these sleeves get in my way, I'll have to pull it off. So the first thing I'm going to do, now I have used scissors to rough up the edges, but the way that I hold them, I've put little cuts in my hands. So I found that this metal ruler with this piece of rubber on the back works just as good, if not better, to give me the desired result. So I'm just roughing up the edges. I'm going to do 4. I cut out 14 of these, and I've done the 6 already, but I'm going to do 4 right now, I think. But I'm just going to rough up all these edges, and I kindly crowded up my workspace, and I probably shouldn't have done that. but yeah, and then I just kind of concentrate a little bit on the corners, just bang them up a little bit to rough them up. You know, these little salesman samples have been carried around in a suitcase from store to store and whatnot, so this paper's a little raggedy. It's funny, this reminds me of when I was growing up in the back mountains of western North Carolina. For several years there was a man from Georgia would come and sell stuff out of the trunk of his car, and we called him the blanket man because he always had blankets. But he'd sell like cake flavorings and different things like that, and of course he always had some sort of toy element, but we very rarely got those. But anyway, my mama would always buy cake flavoring from him and stuff like that. But he would come every summer and sell stuff out of the trunk of his car to people on the mountain, and he would go around all over the place. I don't know what part of Georgia he was from, and I remember he came, I don't know, I'd say at least 5 or 6 years, but he was quite old, a tall, thin man. Have no idea what his real name was. But then he stopped coming, I guess when I was probably around 9 or 10. And we assumed that he must have died, or at least got to where he couldn't do that anymore. And I forgot to do the inside of this one. So this reminds me of that. Okay. Make sure I'm getting all of the inside and the outside inked. But yeah, good memories from way back then. My mama baked a lot when I was growing up. Wintertime was always fun because we always got really deep snows, and you couldn't do much of anything except play in the snow and, carrying wood to keep warm in the fire. But our house was the hub for all the neighborhood kids to come to, because we would stay up almost all night either putting puzzles together or playing Monopoly. Monopoly was like the thing, and my mama was always the banker. And then and she always was the little dog, and I was always the hat, usually the hat. My sister was the horse and my daddy was the car. I don't remember who the other people were, but I had lots of cousins. Everybody around were cousins, because I come from a mountain community that was settled kind of late in the course of U.S. history. And so there was like 3 families moved to the mountains in the early-ish 1800s, and they all married each other, and here we all are some years later with everybody's related, some more than others. Okay, I got my little cutter thing over here. Let me cut me a few, hopefully this will fit in here, yeah. Cut me a few strips here of this paper to use. So yeah, Monopoly, that was the game back in the day. And what's funny is my daughter, my younger daughter, her and her husband collect vintage Monopoly games, and they play a lot of board games. So let's see if I can't put that something like that. And I put me some of this cheesecloth in. I just fixed me up some really weak coffee water and put just a touch of alcohol in it yesterday, and run the cheesecloth through it, and I like how it looks. Okay, I think I'll actually want to put a piece of lace down here first, or a piece of, no, let's save that for the top. Let's do this one. I'd like to use this big one up if possible. Like so. And then put that. And then let's put the raggedy piece up there. I've got a bunch of these pieces of Tim Holtz fabric, the backs of the oh, what is it I'm trying to think of? Cabinet card. I found it, I guess, in a thrift store, and I cut out all of the other, the ones that were on the selvage, and made some ephemera a good while back. Okay, let's find another small piece of something to go in there. That's not really the one I want. Yeah, here's some more of those that I'm gonna cut up and put in. But right now, I've had this thing right here forever. So I'm going to stick it right here. I'm going to put this right on the top of that. And I'm going to put that right over there, and we're going to call that one done. Yeah. Okay, and then I found this old-fashioned stapler that might be running out of staples because I used it a bunch yesterday. Well, that was an interesting little trip. I had to use a hammer to tap it lightly because the staple that I took out, there was a little piece broke off in there. And so I did try it before I turned the camera back on to make sure it was going to work. Okay, so I'm probably ought to be doing these a little bit more streamlined, but I'm going to go up to this point. And I have found bulldog clips are the best thing to use for these little words. For the big word, this is 6 letters. I got the big bulldog clips, and for 4, the middle size works really well. So, so yeah, this is just perfect for me for this little project anyway, and a few others that I do. Okay, so I'm going to wait and put on all the little dangly things at the same time. So let's do another one. I haven't done any with this paper yet, and I really like it. You'll have seen it on another, I guess I could get over here and move the camera. You'll have seen it in another project. I think one of the Thorough Thursday projects. One of the board books, I think I used this. I'm really loving those board books. Actually, I want to do some more of those. Okay, So that kind of gets that in some sizable pieces. So let's find, I'm starting out with some of this coffee dyed paper because that's just kind of ripped on one side, and I'm using that as my base on all of them, like that. And then let's do, that's a little long. I'm going to cut that sort of kind of down the middle. And we'll put that about there where the staples can still catch it. And then that's upside down. That'll be alright. Maybe that one. And we can do a little pink one here. This is kind of a very light pink lace. Put that like that. And I have this as a scrap for sure. I don't know if I've showed this in another video or not, but when you have lace, you can tell the front from the back most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time you'll have these little defined edges that are raised and you can feel them, as opposed to the back will be flat. So that's one way to tell the right side of lace from the wrong side, if you should ever need to do that. Okay, I already did one of those, but I really need to do another piece of paper. Oh, keep picking up these scissors. Put that there, and then I wanted to use a piece of this, and I'm actually going to do this way. Okay, let's see what the stapler does now. Actually, I'm going to pull this one down just slightly and straighten. Okay, hopefully it'll go through all that. Yay! Reckon this has still got enough ink on it without it being too dry to push it in and hold it for a second. Looks good to me. Alright, so that's 2. And then here we go. So more coffee dyed paper. We'll do that. And I want to use, I like that to go with that. That's gotta, let's see if I can cut it right along that seam line where it's been pieced together. I'm going to put a little snippet of this blue, even though it's not quite the same blue, it's still somewhat blue. And I've got I know I don't have very many big pieces of this green, if at all. But I know I've got to have another one in here, I thought. But I don't see one, but I see a lot of good stuff that I'm missing because I'm not digging to the bottom. Note to self, dig to the bottom. That's where you find the good stuff. Okay, cut that in two. I'm going to lay them like that, just to sort of use them up. This one might be too blue, but I like the look of that. So we're gonna cut that right in two. We're gonna use one of these long ones. Lay that right over it about like that. Let's move this to the side just a touch and put that there. Then put that there. Where's that piece? That can go like that. It does need a little piece of see-through lace on the top of it, I think. Something a little showy. Alright. Bring that down a touch. Put that along about there. I'm going to put that about there. No, it's going to have to go up a little bit. And actually this needs to go where a staple's going to go, so I need to move it. Let's put it over here because this one's all bunched up. Okay, here we go. Yay. This is a very old stamp pad, and it looks like it might still have a little life in it, but the little spongy part on the top is very, very ragged. Okay, I'm going to do another blue one, since I've done a lot of pinkish ones. So I'll use that. And that's ripped, so let's just go ahead and use a smidgen of that one and a smidgen of this one. Lay down. Okay. Now I found a piece of tan brown, here we go, that I want to use, but I want to put it near the top. And oh look, here's one I haven't used yet. Ta-da, looky there, looky there. That one's really pretty. When my husband and I, we go thrifting, I really like that one too. Let me see where I am with this. I'm going to put this here. When we go thrifting, I'm always looking at the linens and the clothing to see what I can use. Because sometimes let me back this up. Sometimes the lace that you find in places like Hobby Lobby and other fabric stores, they're boring. There's no other, way to really say it. They're just kind of boring. Let me change that and put this one here. And so, you can buy like a blouse or skirt. I've found several skirts that's got really, really good lace and that sort of thing on it. I'll go ahead and put that one on there as well. And sorry, obviously I can't talk and do stuff at the same time. And I cut it up and use it for projects. And I've got a bunch that I've cut to use in, or that I'm put in my store. I don't know, maybe I won't do gauze right now. Let's do this one, and then that one. Wouldn't mind doing that, but that's a little off. I thought I had another piece of that. Anyway, I guess what I'm getting to is that if you check out the clothes section in your local thrift stores, you can usually find some things that for very little money compared to buying some of it new. You can get a whole piece of a lacy something, a lacy blouse for $2, $3, that you'd never buy that new at the store for that price. So just something to think about. Let me pull these out a little bit because they got, I did want them to stick out slightly, but I don't want them to be way out of line. Well, okay, I'm going to call that one done. Well, could I have stapled them any more uneven? My goodness. Okay. Now, hole punch. So, I was watching a video from about 2 years ago from Camellia Crafts Designs last night, and she said somebody suggested to her about taking the little cover thing off the back so you could see where the hole punch was, and I'm like, and she had exactly this hole punch. She's like, yeah, I have the biggest problem with that. So it's like, oh my goodness. So now I have, it's kind of thick in here, but I just have to, if I punch with a regular hole punch, it's going to be way too big. So I'm just punching it with this little bitty one about 3 or 4 times to give me the hole that I need to put the little eyelet in. So about 3 times, but it's like, yeah, you can see exactly where you need to, where that thing's gonna go. It's like, what an ingenious idea. So yeah. I have to put it against something dark to see where the hole is. That needs just a tiny bit more. That'll do, I think. And then, ooh, cut through all that fabric in there. It wants to try to get hung up a little bit. Well, alright, I think that'll do. Okay, now I've got to pick out these 3 colors of little things last night when I was working on the other ones. I got a bunch of buttons here. These are all kind of browns that work. I got some keys and some other stuff, but I'm not going to use those right now. And then my drawer of brads and other itty bitty pieces that I don't want to lose. So I'm going to start with finding my tweezer things, because this is much easier, to me anyway, I think I'm going to do those in gunmetal, because I very seldom use the gunmetal color, and I need to. That's brown. We'll put that over there. Anyway, what I was saying, I very seldom use the gunmetal ones. Now let's see if I can find another gunmetal. I've got black, I think that's, yep, okay. Now, and here's the little gunmetal eyelets to go with those. Now the way I set these, because I don't have a crocodile or anything like that, and I have a lot of sewing tools because I've sewed for off and on for 40 years. Made all kinds of stuff. Sew for my grandkids. I made my sister's wedding dress. It's a day or 2 ago, trust me, but you know, you don't really forget your skill, you just don't use them as much. But anyway, I'm going to, what I was saying was I have more sewing tools that will work for paper, and so I'd rather take the same money that I'd spend on tools that I can only use for paper, really, and go to the thrift store and buy something with it. That's just me. Okay, let's do these little ones first. So I'm just gonna get that little eyelet pushed in there. I'll go ahead and do this one, because I do not want to knock this over and have to pick these little things up. No, no, and no. We're not going there, not if I can help it. So what I use is the silent setter. And I ordered it off of Amazon about 3 years ago. I don't know if it can still be found, but it makes 3 sizes of holes. This is the biggest one. And then it also then has these tools that you plug in the end to push down the other side of the thing, so the eyelets. Now I do have a a handheld eyelet setter for sewing, but it don't handle these little bitty ones. And there you go. Just a little pressure and it just goes right down. But I do need to push this one down just a little bit more so it catches that paper, because it is quite thick right there. Okay, so there's those two. Let's do those and I'll come back to the other two. So I want a key. We'll do that one. We'll do these sort of alike. And the buttons. So now obviously you can't do too big of a button because the little thing won't really work that well, but I kind of like the look of that one, sort of. Come over here, you. Let's see what you got. That sort of looks good with you, but that might be too big. Most likely have to stick with something along that line. I'm going to try that and that. I'm going to try those two. And I've got to pull my jacket off. I'm getting warm now. Okay. Yeah, I had all my plumbing took out when I was 26, but I still have my ovaries, so yeah. I'm hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. Alright. What am I doing? Alright. So, it took me a minute to figure out how to do this. And hopefully I can remember how I did it. So, you want to put the button on backwards, or on like this, and then put the little key in front of it. But you want to put it in front ways and the back of the button show. And then you do this little bitty trick where you just flip it over and it comes out the right side up. So yeah, it took me like 4 tries to figure out, maybe even 5, to, okay, which way do these go on and which way does it go on? So yeah, there's the shortcut. Mercy, mercy. Alright, let's see if this big button will work, and let's see if I can get the thing on the right way. I believe it might. Just has to have room to do all the twists and turns. And then that little, yay, there we go, hot dog. Now we've got 2 browns, so let's find a brownish button. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Okay, we're doing those 2. And I'm going to do that little heart-shaped key, I think. I don't use those very much. Oh, I'm not there yet, am I? Okie dokie. I don't know if I got that whole big... Oh yeah, it went right through. Let's see about this one. These are so little. Yeah. Just round it just a touch. Just so I'm not fighting it as much. Yay. Perfecto. that way, and a backwards button, and a backwards key, and through the front. Do a little loop-de-loop kind of move, and there we go. Now let's do this one. I was hoping that in my little stamps that I had a cent and a dollar sign, because I was going to put a little bitty price on here, but it did not come with one. It come with other punctuation. It's just a little letter, all caps, and the lowercase numbers, and a few punctuation marks. And so and I don't want to handwrite it in, because then it would look not vintage at all. Okay, I'm doing this one different somehow. No, I'm not. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to clean off my desk and get rid of all these papers, and then we'll come back and look at everything. Okie doke. Okay, so here they all are. They all look very similar but somewhat different. I'm really liking this one. I think this might be one of my favorites, with the blue and the tan. But anyway, we've got the little key and the button and the different layers, with a little bit of writing on this paper underneath, and you could even write on this, plus you have the back. Now on the ones that I did yesterday, and I completely forgot to do it on these, was I just dripped a little of that coffee mixture that I was telling you about. Let me find one. Yeah, I just put a little bit of, I just dipped my fingers in it and dropped it, and then rubbed it around, and then dried it to just darken it up a little bit, and I completely forgot to do that. So that is something you can do or not do ever, to your taste. But so yeah, each one of them has some little pieces of fabric and lace and some writing spaces. You saw me do that one. And these, some of these will go into the February giveaway. Today is, or this project is the first project in what will be the February giveaway at the end of the month. So there'll be a few of these go in there. But anyway, that's the project for File Folder Friday, for the first Friday in February. So I'll be back next week with some more projects. Not sure yet exactly what they are, but I will be back with some more projects to make. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.